Okay, in last class, in surface tension, I have discussed in last classes. In surface tension, I discussed what is surface tension, what is the angle of contact, what is the extra pressure, surface energy, work done to produce the liquid drop, to change the radius of the liquid drop from R1 to R2, to change the radius of the bubble from R1 to R2. Okay, in different cases and applications of the excess pressure, something I discussed. Today, the one more important topic is capillarity. It's a very, very important problem. Capillarity. Okay. Capillarity. Suppose you take a capillary tube. Capillary tube means it is a glass rod, thin glass rod, like a pencil. Okay. Having a fine bore in it parallel to the length at the middle. You take a glass rod like this. You take a glass rod, thin glass, small glass rod, having some length. But the cross section of the glass rod is very small. It is uh, just like a pen like this. Just like here, it is like this. Okay. So it is a capillary tube. Actually, it is a glass rod. In this glass rod, along parallel to its length, a fine bore is made. Fine bore is made having diameter about 1 mm. Having diameter about 1 mm. Okay. 1 mm or less than 1 mm. Such type of glass rod with fine bore is called a capillary tube. It's called capillary tube. So you take that, you imagine that capillary tube here. You imagine that capillary tube. Okay. You imagine that capillary tube. Suppose this is the capillary tube. Here I am not drawing the walls of the capillary tube. Only inner surfaces of the capillary tube I am drawing. Actually, capillary tube is like this. Capillary tube is like this. Actually, it is the glass rod having a fine bore in it. This is the bore. Okay, here this diameter of the bore in the capillary tube is about 1 millimeter. It is called the capillary bore. It is called capillary bore. It is the wall. These are the walls of the capillary tube. Okay, so here, as this bore diameter of the bore in the capillary tube is very small. No? Now, suppose you keep the capillary tube, we keep the capillary tube vertically so that some certain length of the capillary tube is submerged in a liquid. Some length of the capillary tube is submerged in a liquid. Suppose in a beaker there is a liquid. In that liquid, the capillary tube is kept so that a part of its length is submerged in the liquid. And you keep vertically like this. You keep vertically like this. Actually, the liquid level would be up to this only, no? The liquid level in the bore of the capillary tube must be like up to this only, no? Of course, it is the glass wall. It is the glass wall, only it is the bore. So here this is suppose the lower end of the capillary tube, say. It is the lower end of the capillary tube. Of course, here up to this actually liquid level would be there. Up to this, the liquid level would be there. But when you observe the liquid level in the bore of the capillary tube, the liquid level rises, which is above the surface of liquid in a beaker. What is the reason? You see, actually, whenever the capillary tube is kept in a liquid, capillary tube is kept in a liquid so that a part of it is submerged in a liquid and it is kept vertically. Then no doubt to maintain the pressures at the same horizontal level equal. The liquid levels are same, but at the same time, where the surface of liquid in contact with the inner walls of the capillary tube, where the surface of the liquid inside the bore of the capillary tube, which is in contact with the inner walls of the capillary tube. At that point, adhesive force acts and coercive force also acts. The resultant of these two acts in some direction so that the level of the liquid surface in contact with the inner walls of the capillary tube becomes like this. Inner walls of the surface of liquid in contact with the inner walls of the capillary tube becomes like this. In this case, if the surface of liquid is like this, is the coercive force is greater or adhesive force is greater? The surface of liquid in contact with the inner walls of the capillary tube is concave. Is the adhesive force is greater or coercive force is greater? Okay, CB Chakra Bhavana. Siddharth, CB ante Chakra Bhavan. CB Chakra Bhavan. Okay, right. Adhesive force. Okay, adhesive forces are stronger than coercive forces. Very good. Adhesive forces are stronger than coercive forces. Okay, here you see at this point of contact of the liquid surface in contact with the inner walls of the capillary tube. Okay, at this point when you draw the tangent to the surface of the liquid at this point of contact, the tangent you get like this. Okay, angle between the tangent drawn at this point and the surface the surface of the solid inside the liquid is this one. This is called angle of contact. At the point of contact of the liquid surface with the inner walls of the capillary tube, if you draw a tangent, angle made by this tangent with the surface of the solid inside the liquid means here, this one. It is the outside liquid. It is the inside liquid. This angle is called angle of contact. Already we know when adhesive forces are greater than coercive forces, angle of contact is less than 90. No? Angle of contact is less than 90. Okay. So when both are equal, adhesive and coercive forces both are equal, then angle of contact is equal to 90 degree. We know. Okay. So in this case, you see it is the angle of contact. So at this point of contact to the liquid surface, when you draw the tangent, it is the direction of the force due to surface tension, capital T. It is the direction of the force due to surface tension. Resolve this surface tension into components. One is along horizontal direction, another one is along vertical direction. If it is theta, this is equal to theta. This component is equal to T cos theta, no? This component is equal to T cos theta. This component is equal to T sin theta. Because of the surface tension component T cos theta in upward direction, the surface of the meniscus here, the upper surface of the liquid in the bore of the capillary tube is called meniscus. This is called meniscus because the shape is in the form of a concave or convex. Of course, here it is convex. That's why it is concave. It is called meniscus. Meniscus. The surface of the liquid in the capillary tube is called meniscus. It is either in convex shape or concave shape. But in the diagram I drawn here, it is in concave shape, where adhesive forces are greater than the coercive forces. So in this case, the force due to surface tension component acts. Of course, the surface tension component T cos theta acts on the meniscus in upward direction. So what is the length of the free liquid surface in contact with the walls, inner walls of the capillary tube? Tell me. Suppose if the radius of the capillary tube is say smaller, if the radius of the capillary tube is say smaller, then what is the length of the free liquid surface in contact with the inner walls of the capillary tube? What is the length of the free liquid surface in contact with the inner walls of the capillary tube? 2 pi r. Okay, 2 pi r. Along the circumference of the liquid surface in contact with the capillary tube, the surface tension component T cos theta acts in upward direction. No? So force due to surface tension acts on the meniscus. The surface is called meniscus. As force due to surface tension acts on the meniscus in vertically upward direction. Force due to surface tension Ft. Force due to surface tension. Force due to surface tension Ft is equal to surface tension component along vertical upward direction is equal to T cos theta into length of the free liquid surface in contact with the walls of the capillary tube. That is equal to 2 pi small r. This is the force due to surface tension acts on the meniscus in vertically upward direction. Okay, initially this is greater. Here this is greater. So because of this, the meniscus is pulled upwards due to surface tension, force due to surface tension in upward direction. That's why meniscus slowly rises upwards. Meniscus slowly rises upwards. Whenever as long as the meniscus rises upwards, suppose the meniscus rises upwards like this. As long as the meniscus rises upwards, then the weight of the liquid column in the capillary tube gradually increases. Up to the surface of the liquid in the capillary tube, which is at the same level as that of the surface of the liquid in the beaker. There is no extra force. But here, whenever the force due to surface tension acts on the meniscus here, the meniscus is pulled upwards due to surface tension. As long as the meniscus moving upwards due to force due to surface tension here, the weight of the liquid in the capillary tube gradually increases and whenever the meniscus rises up to certain level, then the weight of the liquid column that rises in the capillary tube balances. That weight always acts vertically downwards direction. That balances the force due to surface tension. Up to that, the liquid level rises in the capillary tube and under equilibrium. Suppose the weight of the liquid column that rises in the capillary tube is equal to say mg. Then whenever the force due to surface tension acts on the meniscus balances the weight of the liquid column that rises in the capillary tube. Actually, up to the surface of the liquid in the beaker, if the liquid level is there is no extra weight. But because of force due to surface tension, as the liquid level rises here, already I said, because of force due to surface tension acts on the meniscus upwards, then the meniscus is pulling upwards. Due to that, the meniscus pulls the lower molecules of liquid due to surface tension phenomena or due to coercive forces upwards. Okay, due to that, the liquid level rises until the force due to surface tension balances the weight of the extra liquid that rises in the capillary tube, that is equal to mg. Whenever these two are equal, at that position, the surface of the liquid in the meniscus remains under equilibrium. The meniscus is at this position under equilibrium. So whenever the liquid column in the capillary tube is under equilibrium, at that time, force due to surface tension balances the weight of the liquid in the capillary tube. Okay. So because of this force due to surface tension component acts on the meniscus in vertical upward direction, up to what height the liquid level rises in the capillary tube? Up to what height the liquid level rises in the capillary tube? Up to the from the surface of the liquid up to the bottom of the meniscus. Up to the bottom of the meniscus, whatever the height up to which the liquid level rises, that is called capillary rise. So here capillary rise. Capillary rise is equal to small h. Capillary rise means the height of the liquid column in the capillary tube above the surface of the liquid in a beaker is called the capillary rise. Suppose the capillary rise is small h. Capillary rise is a small h. Then the weight of this liquid column that rises in the capillary tube above the surface of the liquid in a beaker. The weight of that liquid when balances the force due to surface tension. At that position, the liquid level becomes equilibrium and there is no further rise or fall of the liquid level. Whenever the liquid level is under equilibrium, at that time, if you see the surface of the liquid and surface of the liquid in the this capillary tube, it rises no. So this is because of force due to surface tension, the liquid level rises in the capillary tube. Such phenomena of rise of liquid level in the capillary tube due to surface tension is called the capillarity. It is the case whenever adhesive forces are stronger than coercive forces. In some cases, suppose mercury is taken and it is the glass capillary tube. In such cases, the liquid level falls. The liquid level falls. Suppose it is the water and glass capillary tube. Water and glass capillary tube. In such case, the liquid level rises in the capillary tube. Okay, suppose if you take the mercury, you take the mercury in a beaker and we dip the capillary tube in the beaker, mercury, so that a part of its length is inside the mercury. Already, in case of glass and mercury, the surface of the mercury in contact with the glass walls is convex. As coercive forces are stronger than adhesive forces, the surface of the liquid in contact with the glass is convex. Okay, in this mercury, when a glass capillary tube is kept submerged so that a part of it is submerged in the mercury. In such case, as the coercive forces are stronger than adhesive forces, the liquid level becomes fall. The liquid level falls in the capillary tube up to certain level. The coercive forces are stronger than adhesive forces. Here, the coercive forces among the atoms of the mercury atoms, the mercury level is pulled downwards, and adhesive forces due to surface tension, the force due to surface tension acts on the mercury atoms in downwards direction, which is greater than the adhesive forces. The mercury level falls, and so that the surface of the mercury in the capillary tube is called meniscus. It is also called as the meniscus. Okay, but it is convex. So in case of mercury and glass, angle of contact is greater than 90. Whenever the angle of contact is greater than 90, as coercive forces are greater than adhesive forces, the shape of the meniscus in the capillary tube is convex. If the angle of contact is less than 90, the angle of contact is less than 90 only. Here, what is the angle of contact here? At this point of contact of the liquid to the surface of the liquid, you draw a tangent. You draw a tangent. Okay, this is the tangent. So it is the here the angle between the tangent drawn at the point of contact of the liquid surface to the surface of the liquid and the surface of the solid inside the liquid. This is called angle of contact. Here angle of contact is greater than 90. No? So whenever the angle of contact is greater than 90, in this case, the cohesive forces greater than adhesive forces. Cohesive forces greater than adhesive forces. Here, cohesive forces stronger than adhesive. Cohesive forces greater than adhesive. Sorry, cohesive forces less than adhesive. Cohesive forces less than adhesive forces. In such case, the liquid level rises in the capillary tube and angle of contact is less than 90. But whenever the cohesive forces greater than adhesive forces, angle of contact is greater than 90. When angle of contact is greater than 90, the liquid level falls because of surface tension phenomena. So this fall or చెప్పే కదా నన్ను ఆల్రెడీ మీకు ఇందాక సిద్ధార్థ్ శాంత భవన్ అయితే శ్రీచక్ర భవన్ ఇది శ్రీచక్ర భవన్ ఎస్సి అంటే శ్రీచక్ర సిబి అంటేనేమో సిబి అన్న చక్ర భవన్ అన్న రెండు ఒకటే ఇష్టం ఏదో ఒకటి పెట్టేసేయండి సిబి అంటే చక్ర భవన్ ఓకే శ్రీచక్ర భవన్ అన్న చక్ర భవన్ ఒకటే సిబి పెట్టేసేయండి అందరూ రైట్ right here you see so the phenomena of raise of liquid level or fall of liquid level due to surface tension in the capillary tube is called the capillarity. Therefore the phenomenon of rise or fall of liquid level in the capillary tube due to surface tension is called capillarity. The phenomena of rise or fall of liquid level in the capillary tube due to surface tension is called capillarity. If liquid level rises, adhesive forces stronger than cohesive forces and the angle of contact is less than 90. If cohesive forces are greater, then liquid level falls. In such case, angle of contact is greater than 90. Okay, so mercury level falls in the capillary tube, and other than mercury, in case of water, glass capillary tube, as the angle of contact is less than 90, the liquid level rises in the capillary tube. Okay, some examples I will discuss about the capillarity phenomena. One example, we know before spray the seeds on the surface of the fields. Before spray the seeds on the surface of the fields in agriculture, they puff before sown the seeds. Before the seeds are spraying, they puff the field. A field dunutar of the field, so that the fine holes are formed in the clay. A clay lo manaki fine holes form avutayi. Then they spray the seeds. Suppose it is the clay. When it is pluffed, the holes are formed in the lumps of clay like this. When seeds are sprayed, when seeds are go to certain depths inside the and from the surface of the fields. Okay, then suppose when you pour the water is at certain depth. Then because of capillarity phenomena, the water rises in the fine bores made due to ploughing, and that reaches the seeds. Then the seeds takes that water or take the sap and they grow. So because of that reason only, the farmers use the phenomena of the capillarity. Okay, next. You use the blotting paper, no? Tissue paper. Suppose if you are having sweating, then by using tissue paper, just you keep the tissue paper over the head like this, overhead. Immediately it sucks the that tissue paper absorbs the water because of capillarity phenomena only. Because of capillarity phenomena, the water rises into the fine pores of the tissue paper because of capillarity phenomena. Okay, that's why they take the water from our surface. That's why that is also works on the tissue paper also works on the principle of the capillary phenomena only. Tissue paper. Next, the plants. Plants take sap from ground. Here, plants take the sap from the ground because of capillary phenomena only. Because plants are at the stems are inside the soil. No? When you pour the water, the stems are having here. In case of stem, there are in the branch at the bottom of the stem. It consists of fine pores. We cannot see with our naked eye directly. Suppose if you take the cross section of the stem, roots. So if you take the cross section, if you observe the cross section of the roots, that roots are having fine pores like capillary pore. It is called capillary pore. So because of capillary phenomena, the water with sap rises in the roots or stems because of capillary phenomena, and that distributes to all branches of the tree, so that every branch will grow properly. Suppose if any break is there at the stem or in the branch of the tree, that water which rises because of capillary phenomena cannot be distributed to all branches uniformly. That's why some branches cannot take the sap, some branches can take the sap. So that's why some branches will be destroyed. Okay, some are growing properly. Okay, if capillary phenomena is properly not there, that branch cannot take the sap from the ground due to capillary phenomena. So that is also because of capillary phenomena. Next, suppose ink pen is there. Ink pen. Ink pen also works on the principle of capillarity phenomena, because in case of ink pen, it is having nib. When you see the nib, when you see the surface of the nib, the edge of the nib is like this. The edge of the nib is like this, so that a small gap, fine gap is there, that is called capillary pore, capillary gap. In this capillary gap, because of surface tension property or because of capillary phenomena, the ink rises up to the edge of the nib. Then when you write on the paper, then as ink rises like this, then we can write. It is possible to write by means of ink pen over the paper on the paper because of capillarity phenomena only. Okay. Okay, this will rise or fall is taken place because of capillarity phenomena only. Because of not only capillary tube. Already in case of ink pen, also a fine gap is there, no? A fine gap is there between the two parts of the ink pen, ink nib. Between these two parts of the ink nib, there is a fine gap is there. That gap is less than 1 mm. Less than 1 mm. That acts as the capillary pore, just like here, capillary pore. Then because of capillarity phenomena, the ink level rises. The ink level rises. Yeah, space is there. Ink pen nib, there is a space between the two parts of the ink pen nib. That space between the two parts of the ink nib behaves like a capillary pore, and because of capillarity phenomena, the ink level rises in the pen. Due to that, by means of this pen, when you write, it can write. It can write. Okay, that is because of capillarity phenomena. By means of the ballpoint pen, we cannot write. By means of ink pen, we can write like this also. But by means of a ballpoint pen, we cannot write, because ballpoint pen works on the principle of the gravity. So when you keep the paper like this, and when you write the by means of a ink pen, ballpoint pen, when you write like this, we press while writing, we press the ball in the nib of the ballpoint pen presses. Okay, then a gap is developed, and through that gap, because of gravity phenomena, the ink in the refill comes down, so that there is a possibility to write on the paper. Suppose if we keep the ballpoint pen like this, in that case, even the ball is pressed, even gap is created. In this, there is no capillary phenomena occurs, because the gap space is more. That's why capillary phenomena does not occur when space is more. That's why only in case of ink pens we can observe the capillary phenomena. Okay. So in this way, we can say the different examples also. Next, kerosene stove. In kerosene stove, wicks are there, no? Kerosene stove, wicks of kerosene stove. Wicks of stove or kerosene stove. Of course, I think you know, I think you don't know what is the kerosene also. Of course, in chemistry, in case of organic chemistry, you may read kerosene like that. Of course, you know the petrol, but you don't know kerosene, I think. Blue color liquid is there. Okay, of course, nowadays we are not using the kerosene frequently. Okay, yeah, in tea stalls, of course, in tea stalls also, I think they are using gases only, gas cylinder only. Okay, of course, most of the students doesn't know. Of course, you may know G1, but most of the students doesn't know what is the kerosene also. Okay, in olden days, they used the kerosene stoves. In olden days, they used the kerosene stoves, a kerosene lamp. Kerosene lamp. In the kerosene lamp, there is a wick. There is a wick. In festivals, we use the wick. No, in that wick, here wick is kept in the convex shaped brass vessel, and in that wick is kept and oil is poured. And when you fire the wick, then it go continuously. It fires continuously because of capillary phenomena. In that wick, fine bores are there. So due to capillary phenomena, continuously the oil comes to the end of the wick and it burns, it fires because of firing. Okay, that's why continuously it continuously it fires and produces the fire until the total oil will be exhausted. That is because of capillary phenomena. Similarly, in even of course in village also they are not using nowadays. Here even in village also most of the village also about 80% they are using gas stoves only, gas cylinders only. Okay, right. Here, bits of the stove works because of capillarity phenomena only. In this way, we can say the number of examples for capillarity phenomena. Okay, now how we can determine this capillarity by means of this capillarity phenomena, by means of this concept, how we can determine the surface tension of the liquid. How we can determine the surface tension of the liquid. There is one apparatus, Serrel's experiment is there. By means of Serrel's experiment, we can measure the surface tension of the liquid. So what is the construction and working of the Serrel's method? By means of which, how we can measure the surface tension, how we can calculate the surface tension, we will see. Because that formula is important. In that Serrel's method, not Serrel's method, capillary rise method. In that capillary rise method, how we can measure the surface tension of the any given liquid. Capillary rise method. So next slide, determination of surface tension of a liquid. Determination of surface tension of a liquid by hyphen capillary rise method. Capillary rise method. Whatever the formula we are going to derive, that is very, very important for problems in this week. Okay. So determination of the surface tension of the liquid by capillary rise method. Serrel's method is different. Serrel's method is the method used to determine the Young's modulus of metal of the wire. That is in elasticity. Serrel's method is the device used to measure the Young's modulus of metal of the wire. Okay, here capillary rise method is the method used to determine the surface tension of the any given liquid. Okay, first of all, here we have to observe how experimental setup is there. In this, we have to discuss. In a beaker, first you take the liquid whose surface tension to be determined. Whose surface tension to be determined. Whose surface tension to be determined. Suppose this is a liquid is taken in the beaker, whose surface tension to be determined. Is the angle of here? Is the angle of contact is greater than 90 or less than 90? Tell me. Here, the surface of the liquid in contact with the glass vessel is drawn like this. From this, based on the surface of the shape of the surface of the liquid in contact with the glass vessel, vertical wall of the vessel, is the angle of contact is greater than 90 or less than 90? Less than 90. That means adhesive force is stronger than coercive forces here. So in this liquid, suppose if you keep the capillary tube means glass capillary tube. For glass capillary tube and this liquid also, suppose the angle of contact is less than 90 only. In such case, when you keep the capillary tube here, is the liquid level rises or falls? Is liquid level rises or falls in the capillary tube? Rises, because when the angle of contact is less than 90 between the liquid and nature of material of the capillary tube. Generally, capillary tube is made of glass. So between glass and liquid, if the angle of contact is less than 90, it is less than 90 whenever adhesive forces are stronger than positive forces. In such case, the liquid level rises in the capillary tube. If the angle of contact between the capillary tube and the liquid is greater than 90, in such case, the liquid level falls. Okay. Here, capillary rise method. Rise means liquid level rises. That's why in this case, the liquid is taken, which is having angle of contact less than 90 between the liquid and capillary glass capillary tube. You take that capillary tube. First, you take the glass capillary tube. You see here. Suppose this is the glass capillary tube. I don't want to draw the walls of the capillary tube. Only the inner diameter, inner bore of the capillary tube I drawn here. Walls of the capillary tube are not drawn. Okay. Here, this is the capillary tube. It is the bore in the capillary tube. This capillary tube is having some length. Here, at nearer one end of the capillary tube, you fix a bent wire. You fix a bent wire by means of a rubber bands. Rubber bands sort of a bent wire ni capillary tube ki fix ayindi. Because of this bent wires, the bore in the capillary tube is not closed. Just over the surface only by means of rubber bands, a bent wire is fixed like this. A bent wire is fixed like this. Okay, now you keep this capillary tube vertically so that a part of the lower end of the capillary tube is submerged in the liquid. Okay, now I will erase this part. This diagram I will erase. Now you see here this capillary tube fixed with the bent wire that is kept vertically so that the lower end of the capillary tube is submerged in the liquid. I will draw the capillary tube with more diameter in order to understand the concept here. You don't think that the capillary tube bore is having very much more. You don't think like that. But diameter is very small only, less than 1 mm only. Okay. But in order to understand the concept here, I drawn with more diameter. Suppose this is the capillary tube. It is the capillary tube. In order to understand the diagram only, I drawn the capillary tube with more diameter. You don't think that it is having more diameter. It is the bore in the capillary tube. Okay. The radius of the capillary tube is smaller. Of course, this radius is less than 1 millimeter. Diameter is less than 1 millimeter. Of course, it is the capillary tube. Capillary tube itself represents, it is having a fine bore having radius less than half mm or diameter less than 1 mm. Capillary tube. Okay. Here already bent wire is also there now here. Now you keep the capillary tube with bent wire fixed to them by means of rubber bands vertically so that the lower end of the capillary tube is submerged in the liquid, and keep the capillary tube vertically by means of a stand. Here one stand is also there. Retard stand or vertical stand. That vertical stand is also there. Vertical stand. By means of a clamp, this capillary tube is fixed vertically so that lower end of the capillary tube is just submerged in the liquid. As the angle of contact between the capillary tube and surface of the liquid is for this liquid is less than 90, the surface of the liquid in contact with the capillary tube is concave upwards like this. It also concave. Okay, inside also capillary tube is like this only, but because of capillarity phenomena, is the liquid level rises or falls? Tell me, is the liquid level rises or falls? Rises. Suppose the liquid level rises up to this. Suppose the liquid level rises up to this. The shape of the meniscus is concave. That's why I drawn concave shaped meniscus. In this way, the liquid level rises. Here, where is the bent pin? Actually, bent pin is also there. I did not draw here. Now I will draw. Here, you adjust the position. Here, you can raise the position of the capillary tube or lower the position of the capillary tube. Okay. So, by means of the clamp, you adjust the position of the capillary tube in the liquid so that the bent wire is there. No, that bent wire is exactly the bottom of the bent wire exactly in contact with the surface of the liquid in the beaker. You see, it is the bent wire. The bottom surface of the bent wire is exactly come in contact with the surface of the liquid in a beaker in such a way you adjust the position of the capillary tube vertically. By means of a clamp here, the position of the capillary tube is adjusted so that the bent wire is the bottom surface of the bent wire is just in contact with the surface of the liquid in a beaker. In such a way, you fix the capillary tube. Then, because of capillarity phenomena, the liquid level rises up to certain level here. Okay, here this is called the surface of the liquid in the capillary tube, which is called the meniscus. So this is called meniscus. Meniscus. Meniscus means in the form of the moon shape, half moon shape. Meniscus. Okay. Now, bottom surface of the meniscus means you draw a tangent to the bottom of the meniscus. This is the tangent drawn to the bottom of the meniscus. Here the capillary rise means the height of the liquid column in the capillary tube above the surface of liquid in the beaker. That is called the capillary rise. You see, always surface of the liquid in the beaker is exactly at the bottom edge of the bent wire. Surface of liquid we know in the capillary tube. Okay, we can see with our naked eye. So by means of a scale is also fixed here. By means of a scale, you measure the capillary rise. Capillary rise means from the surface of the bent pin up to, because we cannot keep the scale on the surface of the liquid in contact. That's why up to the bottom edge of the bent wire, from bottom edge of the bent wire up to the surface of the liquid in the capillary tube, you put the scale here and you note the reading. That is called capillary rise. So H is the capillary rise. H is the capillary rise. H, capillary rise. Capillary rise means the height of the liquid column that rises in the capillary tube above the surface of the liquid in the beaker. That is called capillary rise. You, by means of a scale, you measure the capillary rise. So this bent wire is useful to measure the capillary rise or height of the liquid column in the capillary tube over the surface of liquid in a beaker. That is only the use of the bent wire. There is no further importance. And moreover, suppose if you take the water in the, suppose if you want to find the surface tension of the water, and if you take the glass capillary tube, then whenever the water rises up to certain level, we cannot see directly with the naked eye. We cannot see how far water level rises because color of the water is colorless, gas is also colorless. That's why we cannot see immediately up to what level the water rises in the capillary tube. That's why generally 2-3 ink drops are added in the capillary tube. We don't add more drops of the ink in the water in a beaker. Just a few drops, 2-3 ink drops you add in the water in a beaker so that the total color of the water becomes blue in color, sky blue in color. Whenever the water level rises up to this one, then we can see blue color up to this one, so that we can see the height up to which water level rises in the capillary tube we can find. Okay, suppose if it is say water, determination of the surface tension of liquid or water. Liquid or water. Suppose if it is water, we have to do like this. Okay. So if it is any colored liquid, we need not add any ink drops in the liquid. If it is any other liquid having some color. Okay, if it is the water, in order to see the water level in the capillary tube, we have to draw 2-3 drops of the ink in the water in a beaker so that the color of the water becomes blue. So whenever, because of capillarity phenomena, whenever the liquid level rises, we can see the liquid level rise up to this one because we can see blue color up to this. Of course, the liquid level rise and the surface of the meniscus in the liquid is up to this one, but the capillary rise is up to the bottom surface of the meniscus only. From the surface of liquid in a beaker up to the bottom surface of the meniscus, whatever the vertical distance, that is called the capillary rise. So by means of the scale, we have to measure the capillary rise. That is H. Okay, now already I said why the liquid level rises in the capillary tube. Because at the surface of the meniscus in contact with the inner walls of the capillary tube, the surface tension acts along tangential direction. So at the point of contact of the liquid surface in contact with the inner walls of the capillary tube, if you draw the tangent, the angle made by the tangent with the surface of the solid inside the liquid, that means this one, that is equal to angle of contact theta. And if it is theta, this is theta. Then resolve this surface into two components, perpendicular components. One is along horizontal direction, that is t sine theta. One is along vertical direction, that is t cos theta. So here, the surface tension component acts on the meniscus of the capillary tube. What is the shape of the meniscus here? As the angle of contact is less than 90. Angle of contact less than 90. as angle of contact is less than 90. Angle of contact less than 90 degree. Theta is the angle of contact that is less than 90. So a liquid level rises in the capillary tube. Liquid level rises in the capillary tube. Okay. So here, whenever the angle of contact is less than 90, the surface tension acts on the surface of liquid in this direction. Their component acts in the vertical direction and the horizontal direction also. Here, this component is T cos theta, this is T sin theta. Exactly opposite this point. Here also you consider the surface tension direction. At this point of contact, you draw the tangent. It is the surface tension direction. It is the angle of contact. Here also theta, because same liquid and glass, it is theta. So this component is T cos theta and this component is T sin theta. Exactly at opposite points here, the surface tension components will be cancelled. So along horizontal direction, there is no force due to surface tension acts on the meniscus. But along vertical direction, force surface tension component acts on the surface of the meniscus in vertical upward direction. Suppose the radius of the capillary tube is smaller, then length of the meniscus, length of the free liquid surface in the capillary tube in contact with the inner walls of the capillary tube is equal to 2 pi r. Then force due to surface tension acts on the meniscus in vertically upward direction. Force due to surface tension acts on meniscus in capillary tube. Vertically upwards is equal to force due to surface tension acts on the meniscus in vertical upward direction is equal to T cos theta. This is the surface tension component. Surface tension component acts on the meniscus vertical upwards into total length of the free liquid surface in contact with the inner walls of the capillary tube is equal to 2 pi small r. This is the force due to surface tension acts on the meniscus vertically upwards. So because of this force due to surface tension component acts on the meniscus upwards, the liquid level slowly rises, and whenever liquid level rises up to certain height, then the liquid level is under equilibrium. Under equilibrium, the height of the liquid column rises in the capillary tube is h. Now here the weight of the liquid column that rises in the capillary tube above the surface of the liquid in a beaker. Beaker లో ఉన్న liquid level ఇక్కడ దాకా ఉంది. ఈ క్యాపిలరీ ట్యూబ్ లో లిక్విడ్ లెవెల్ బేకర్ లో లిక్విడ్ లెవెల్ కంటే పైకి ఇంత రేజ్ అయింది. ఆ పైకి రేజ్ అయిన లిక్విడ్ కాలం యొక్క వెయిట్ కావాలి. వెయిట్ ఆఫ్ లిక్విడ్ కాలం rises in the capillary tube. Over the surface of the liquid in a beaker. Surface of liquid in a beaker is equal to, say, mg. Mass of liquid column that rises in the capillary tube is m into z. That is the weight of the liquid column. How you can find the mass? That is important. Mass of the liquid column that rises in the capillary tube is equal to, you see, from this surface of the liquid in the beaker. That means up to this, from this point, from this line up to this line, there is a liquid column in the form of a cylindrical shape, perfectly of height h, which is the capillary rise. That's why volume of this liquid column is, as it is in the form of a cylinder, the volume of this liquid column is equal to area of cross section pi r square into h capillary. That means volume of the liquid column in the form of cylindrical shape. But here meniscus is there, no? What is the volume of the meniscus? What is the volume of liquid in the meniscus? So you see, meniscus is like this. I will draw here. If you see the surface of the meniscus shape is like this. Meniscus is almost like this. Okay. Yes, I drawn this part only. The height of the meniscus is almost all equal to radius of the capillary tube. Height of the meniscus is almost all equal to radius of the capillary tube, r. Then here there is a meniscus having height r. So what is the volume of this part? Volume of this part is called area of cross section. Here it is the volume of the liquid column in the capillary tube having height h plus volume of liquid in the meniscus. Volume of liquid in the meniscus means plus volume of liquid in the meniscus means liquid is up to in the shaded part only. Volume of this part only we have to write here. To write the volume of the shared part in the meniscus. So suppose if it is the liquid column of height r, then volume of this liquid part is area of cross section pi r square into height r. So pi r square into r. That is the total volume. From this, approximately, if it is water, it is hemisphere. Because angle here at this point of contact, if you draw the tangent is parallel to the walls only, because angle of contact is 0 for pure water and glass. For other liquids, it is less than, it is greater than 0 only, but less than 90. Suppose if it is water, then it is hemisphere. Hemisphere means volume of the hemisphere is from this total volume of the liquid column, you subtract the volume of the hemisphere. Then you will get the volume of the liquid in the meniscus, no? So minus volume of the hemisphere means 2/3 pi r cube. 2/3 r cube for water. For water, approximately. Okay, therefore, this is equal to here pi r square h plus here pi r cube minus 2/3 pi r cube means pi r cube by 3, no? Pi r cube by 3. That is equal to, you take pi r square common. When you take pi r square common, here pi r square, okay, pi r square you take common, then h plus r by 3 you will have. It is the volume of the liquid column that rises in the capillary tube. Therefore, mass we know. Therefore, mass of liquid is equal to volume into density. Therefore, volume means this one. That is equal to pi r square into h plus r by 3 into density of the liquid column gives mass. Okay, therefore, weight of the liquid column that rises in the capillary tube is equal to mg, no? Therefore, weight of liquid column, mg is equal to, m means r square into h plus r by 3 into rho into c. It is the weight of the liquid column that rises in the capillary tube. So, because of force due to surface tension acts on the meniscus in vertical upward direction, the liquid level rises in the capillary tube until the weight of the liquid column in the capillary tube above the surface of the liquid in the beaker equal to the force due to surface tension. Up to that level, the liquid level rises. Whenever it is liquid level is under equilibrium at a height equal to capillary small h, the weight of the liquid column is equal to force due to surface tension acts on the meniscus in the capillary tube. Therefore, under equilibrium, force due to surface tension balances the weight of the liquid column in the capillary tube. Force due to surface tension means here P cos theta into 2 pi r. P cos theta into 2 pi small r is equal to weight of the liquid column that rises in the capillary tube. Pi r square into h plus r by 3 into rho into c. So which will be cancelled. So pi r cancelled. Okay, therefore P we need. P is equal to r into h plus r by 3 into rho z by 2 cos theta. 2 cos theta. This is the exact formula for surface tension of the liquid in the taken in the beaker. Where h is the capillary rise. Capillary rise means that is the height of the liquid column in the capillary tube from the surface of liquid in the beaker up to the bottom of the meniscus. ఈ meniscus యొక్క బాటమ్ సర్ఫేస్ కి బీకర్ లో ఉన్న లిక్విడ్ యొక్క సర్ఫేస్ కి మధ్య వెర్టికల్ డిస్టెన్స్ హైట్ ఆఫ్ ది క్యాపిల్లరీ ట్యూబ్ h అంటే r is the radius of the capillary tube, rho is the density, theta is the angle of contact. Okay, so this is the formula for the surface tension of the liquid in the capillary tube. If we know as it is the capillary tube, the height of the liquid column in the capillary tube is about 2.5 centimeter, 2 centimeter like that. About 2.5 centimeter or 2.5 centimeter, 2 centimeter like that. That means 20 millimeter like that. But the radius of the capillary tube is half millimeter, 1/4 millimeter like that. That means when compared with the height of the liquid column in the capillary tube, radius of the capillary tube is very, very small. That's why that can be ignored. As radius of the capillary tube is very, very small compared with the height of the liquid column in the capillary tube, which is called capillary rise, then P is equal to, we have R into R by 3 can be neglected when compared with H. That's why R H rho z by 2 cos theta. For water, pure water, angle of contact theta is equal to 0 degree. Therefore, P is equal to R H rho z by 2. For pure water, surface tension is equal to RH rho Z by 2. Okay, I will write here. Shall I write this part? This is important formula. Shall I write this part? Shall I write this part? So this formula is very, very important. Force due to surface tension acts on the meniscus in the capillary tube is equal to T cos theta into 2 pi. That is very, very important formula. So here, when in case of pure water and glass capillary tube, angle of contact is 0. For pure water and glass capillary tube, angle of contact theta is equal to 0 degree. When you put theta is equal to 0 here, then surface tension is equal to RH rho Z by 2 cos 0. Therefore, T is equal to RH rho Z by 2. So in case of pure water and glass, we can take formula for surface tension as RH rho Z by 2. For the given liquid, T constant, G constant, okay, rho constant for the given liquid and 2 constant. Then for given liquid and glass, for given liquid and glass tube, for the given liquid and glass tube, glass capillary tube, rho, G and T are constant. Then RH is constant, no? RH is constant. RH is constant means that implies H is inversely proportional to smaller. So capillary rise is inversely proportional to smaller means if radius of the capillary tube is less, capillary rise will be more. If radius of the capillary tube is more, capillary rise will be less. This is called Durin's law. It is called Durin's law. It is called Durin's law. Durin. So according to Durin's law, if you draw the graph between H and R, you'll get like this. For radius of the capillary tube and capillary rise, if you draw the graph, you will get the graph like this. Okay, for Durin's law. From this, when R increases, capillary rise gradually decreases. Okay, in this way we can write. We can draw this graph. Okay, this is the by capillary rise method. How we can determine the surface tension means in this formula, in case of pure water and glass capillary tube, just if you know H value, then we can calculate T, because the radius of the cross section of the bore in the capillary tube can be determined by using microscope. ఇక్కడ ఈ capillary tube యొక్క బోర్ దీని యొక్క రేడియస్ అంటే ఇది ఈ రేడియస్ ని ఫైండ్ అవుట్ చేయాలంటే మైక్రోస్కోప్ ను ఉపయోగిస్తామండి. మైక్రోస్కోప్ ను ఉపయోగించి ఏం చేస్తామంటే I will show here. In order to determine the surface tension of the water by using glass capillary tube experimentally, by means of this capillary rise method, first we had to find the capillary rise H value. H can be determined as said now. We can determine the H value. Instead of the water, we know G is known, 2 is known. How we can measure the capillary radius of the capillary tube? Here, by means of the clamp only, the capillary tube is fixed horizontally so that the cross section can be seen directly. So when you fix the capillary tube horizontally so that cross section is seen directly, so the cross section of the capillary tube appeared like this. Actually, this is the wall of the capillary tube. It is only bore. That bore only I drawn here. The bore only I drawn here. Okay. This is the radius smaller. We have to find that R value. So by using microscope, when you see the cross section of the capillary tube, by using microscope, that is a traveling microscope is there. By using the traveling microscope means traveling microscope. That microscope can be moved along horizontal direction or along vertical direction. Such arrangement is there. Such provision is there in the microscope. That's why it is called traveling microscope. So with the help of the traveling microscope, when you see this cross section through the traveling microscope, we can see this bore like this. In that traveling microscope, it consists of vertical and horizontal lines. They are called crosswise. So first you move the traveling microscope along horizontal direction so that the vertical crosswise just come in contact with the edge of the bore in the capillary tube. Traveling microscope in horizontal direction move చేసినప్పుడు దాంట్లో vertical wire కూడా along with the microscope it move like this. So whenever the vertical wire coming tangent with the inner bore like this, then the position of the microscope you note on the scale. ఇక్కడ scale reading ఏదో వస్తుంది. Some scale reading అది some L1 or D1 or something, whatever it may be, you take L1. Next, we move the traveling microscope so that the same vertical wire come in contact with the and the opposite edge of the bore in the capillary tube. Again, you take the reading here. The difference between these two readings, L2 minus L1, gives the distance between these 2 points. That is equal to 2R. From this, R is equal to L2 minus L1 by 2. In this way, by means of the traveling microscope, we can find the radius of the bore in the capillary tube. And you know R value. Already by using capillarized method, we noted the capillary rise. Density of the water, G, all are fixed. We note them. Then you substitute here. Then we can calculate the surface tension of the water by means of the capillarized method. In this way, we can determine the surface tension of the liquid water by means of a capillarized method. Or for any liquid, with the help of the formula RH rho z by 2 cos theta formula is there. No? With the help of that formula, we can calculate the surface tension of the. We can measure the surface tension of the any liquid. Okay. For water, you take theta is equal to 0 degree. Right. This is the capillarized method. Now, based on this, what are some important points? Note points. They are very, very important for objective. It is for IP only. Of course, in IP also they are not asking frequently. They are not asking this question, but concept is important to do the problems in objective. Okay. Microscope means that here, just like the microscope means that is the device used to see the smaller objects magnifyingly. That is the microscope. If you see directly the bore of the capillary tube with naked eye directly, we cannot see them clearly. With the help of microscope, when you see the cross section of the capillary tube, we can see clearly the boundaries of the bore in the capillary tube. So by moving the microscope along horizontal direction, you keep the vertical wire in the microscope coincides with this edge of the bore in the capillary tube. You take the reading as L1. You move the microscope in forward direction continuously, and whenever that vertical wire coming online with this edge of the bore, again you measure the reading position of the microscope on the scale. Scale is also there in the microscope. The difference between these two readings gives the diameter of the bore, make them half, gives the radius. In this way, we can find the radius of the capillary tube. Okay, Rutvik. Okay, Rutvik. Right now, we have to discuss some applications of this capillarized method. For some note points, they are very, very important. First one, the surface tension by capillary rise method. By capillary rise method, surface tension P is equal to RH rho z by 2 cos theta. Where theta is the angle of contact, radius of the capillary tube, capillarized, density of the liquid, acceleration due to gravity. Okay. Second one, capillary rise does not depends on the inclination of the capillary tube. So in the liquid, when capillary here, suppose this is the liquid, it is the surface of liquid. In the surface of liquid, here in this liquid, suppose one capillary tube is kept vertically. One capillary tube is kept vertically like this. One capillary tube is kept vertically like this. Okay, then the liquid level rises up to this level. Suppose the liquid level rises up to this level. Here the height of the capillary rise in the capillary tube means from the surface of liquid in a beaker up to the bottom of the meniscus, whatever the height, that is called capillary rise, which is equal to say small h, which is equal to small h. So when capillary tube is kept vertically, then the height of the liquid level in the capillary tube or capillary is equal to small h. Then the same capillary tube is kept in the liquid so that it is inclined with certain angle with vertical. Same capillary tube is kept vertical. Same capillary tube is kept with inclination. Same capillary tube is kept with inclination so that it makes an angle theta with vertical. In this case, what is the capillary rise? Capillary rise does not depend on the inclination of the capillary tube. Even the capillary tube is kept vertical or inclined. The vertical height of the liquid column in the capillary tube does not alter. The vertical height of the liquid column in the capillary tube does not alter. Suppose here, this is the height of the capillary rise, vertical height of the liquid in the capillary tube. The vertical height does not alter. So the liquid level here also ranges up to this level on H only. So the capillary rise in the capillary tube, the vertical height of the capillary rise in the capillary tube does not depend on the inclination of the capillary tube. Even capillary tube is kept inclined like this. The vertical height of the liquid column in the capillary tube does not change, but length of the liquid column in the capillary tube changes. Here, capillary rise and length of the liquid column in the capillary tube above the surface of liquid in the beaker, that is same as the capillary rise here only. Length of the liquid column here and the capillary rise both are same. But here, length of the liquid column is this one above the surface of the liquid in the beaker, but vertical height of the capillary tube is equal to the vertical height of the liquid column in the capillary tube is equal to this one. Vertical height does not change. Only length of liquid column in the capillary tube is what? That means L is how much? If it is H, of course, this is equal to H. In this right angle triangle, you take cos theta. Cos theta is equal to H by L. Then what is the length of the liquid column in the capillary tube means L is equal to H by cos theta. Suppose the angle made by this capillary tube with horizontal is given as theta naught. Then you take sin theta naught. Sin theta naught is equal to opposite side by hypotenuse. That means H by L. If angle made by the capillary tube with horizontal is given, in such case, the length of liquid column in the capillary tube can be had by using this one. If the angle made by the capillary tube with vertical is given, then this is the formula. But in both the cases here, we have to remember that the vertical height of the liquid column in the capillary tube does not change. Even the capillary tube is kept vertical or inclined. Vertical height of liquid column here and here same. So the capillary rise means that is the vertical height of liquid column only that rises in the capillary tube. That it does not depend on the inclination of the capillary tube. Okay. Okay. In case of water, theta is equal to 0. You take. In case of water, you take theta 0. Siddharth. It is generally I have written. In case of water, you take theta is equal to 0. Okay. Siddharth. In case of pure water and glass, you take theta is equal to 0 only. I have written for in general case. Okay. Right. Therefore, capillary rise H does not depends on inclination of the capillary tube. Inclination of capillary tube. For water, if you put theta is equal to 0 degree, then RH rho z by 2 we will get. And moreover, I think you are having doubt that in the meniscus, I have taken theta is equal to 0. No, I have taken meniscus. That means the volume of the liquid column in the meniscus is very, very small. That can be ignored. Even it, by taking hemisphere here, I have measured the volume. But volume of the water in the meniscus can be neglected. Any liquid, whether it is water or anyone, then you will get RH rho z only. RH rho z only you will get approximately. Okay, by 2 cos theta. I think that is only your doubts. Okay. So capillary rise does not depends on the inclination of the capillary tube. This is very, very important. Next, suppose for the given capillary rise method, for given capillary rise method, for given capillary rise system method or system, that means for the given capillary rise method or apparatus, radius of the capillary tube does not alter, density does not change. Sorry, density for the given liquid density remains constant. Okay, G remains constant. Suppose here, if this entire system capillarized method is doing in lift, a given capillarized method in a lift, okay, when lift is moving upwards with certain acceleration or moving downwards with certain acceleration, in such case, how does the capillary rise will change? Okay, suppose here, suppose the lift is moving upwards with certain acceleration. If the lift is moving with certain acceleration in upward direction, in such case, what about the capillary rise? In such case, what about the capillary rise? Instead of G, we have tried effective acceleration G plus A while moving upwards. While moving upwards, we have to take the effective acceleration G plus A. So in that case, capital rise is equal to, you see from this formula, capital rise H is equal to 2t cos theta by R rho z. No? Here we have tried G plus A while moving upwards. While moving upwards with acceleration A, this is the formula. While coming down, 2t cos theta by R rho into G minus A. By moving with an acceleration A in downwards direction. Okay. So that means here, when the capillary tube is kept in a beaker, the capillary tube, sorry, the capillary rise system is kept in a elevator or lift, and which is moving upwards or downwards, only G value will be affected. Due to that, H value will change. Remaining all remains constant. So H is equal to constant in this case. Okay, H1 Z1 is equal to H2 Z2. H1 Z1 is equal to H2 Z2. H1 by H2 is equal to Z2 by Z1. H1 means when lift is moving upwards with acceleration A, then capitalize is H1. By when lift is coming down with an acceleration A, then capitalize is H2. That is equal to G2 means when the lift is coming down with acceleration A, the effective acceleration is equal to G minus A. Like when lift is moving upwards, the effective acceleration is G plus A. Of course, if you divide these two, you will get this formula only. This is the relation. So when lift is moving upwards, capital rise will be more. Is it more or less? Tell me. When the lift is moving upwards, capital rise will be less. When lift is coming down, the capital rise will be more. Okay, the capital rise will be more. Next. Next, fourth one, insufficient capillary tube. insufficient capillary tube. So in case of lift, whenever the body is moving upwards, what is the apparent weight of the body? M of G plus A, no? M of G plus A, no? Karthik. M of G plus A. Okay. So that's why actually while deriving this formula, the force due to surface tension is equal to T cos theta into 2 pi R is equal to mg, 8 mg. When lift is moving upwards, the apparent weight of liquid in the capillary tube is M of G plus A. We have right. If you simplify them, you will get like this. While coming down M of G minus A. If you simplify them, you will get like this. Next, insufficient capillary tube. Suppose here it is the beaker. The capillary tube is kept vertically like this. Then the liquid level rises up to this one. This is the capillary rise. That is say H. It is a capillary rise. Insufficient means here whenever the capillary tube is kept submerged in the liquid so that the length of the capillary tube above the surface of liquid is less than the capillary rise, then such tube is called insufficient capillary tube. Suppose here same capillary tube. Suppose the capillary tube is kept here. Suppose this is the capillary tube. In first case, okay, you see here this is the capillary rise. This is the capillary rise. But the same capillary tube is kept submerged in the liquid so that the length of the capillary tube above the surface of the liquid is less than the capillary rise. ఇక్కడ capillary rise ఎంతైతే ఉందో అంటే లిక్విడ్ యొక్క సర్ఫేస్ నుంచి capillary tube లో లిక్విడ్ మినిస్కస్ వరకు గల డిస్టెన్స్ వెర్టికల్ డిస్టెన్స్ ఎంతైతే ఉందో దానికంటే తక్కువ లెంత్ గల capillary tube above the surface of liquid ఉండేట్టుగా అరేంజ్ చేస్తే దాన్ని insufficient capillary tube అంటాం. It is the insufficient capillary tube. Insufficient capillary tube. Okay, then what about the liquid level? Is the liquid level overflows from the capillary tube? Because liquid level can rise up to a height h. This height is less than this one. This is a h dash. The height of the capillary tube from the surface of liquid up to the end of the capillary tube, this height is h dash. H dash is less than capillary rise. That's why it is called insufficient capillary tube. So when insufficient capillary tube is kept here, is the liquid level overflows just like a fountain? Is the liquid level overflows just like a fountain? No, because whenever the liquid level rises here in the capillary tube, whenever it reaches the full end of the capillary tube up to this one, it try to comes out. But as adhesive forces are stronger than the cohesive forces, adhesive forces pulls the molecules of the liquid column inwards. That's why the liquid cannot overflow. So when h dash less than h, liquid does not overflow. Liquid does not overflow. But the shape of the meniscus changes. Suppose if the shape of the meniscus here is hemispherical, here shape of the meniscus changes so that its radius changes. Shape of the meniscus changes. Shape of the meniscus changes. So in case of insufficient capillary tube, the liquid level rises up to full length of the capillary tube. Whatever the length of the insufficient length of the capillary tube above the surface of the liquid, the liquid level rises up to the full length of the capillary tube. Okay, but the shape of the meniscus changes. Now, what is the radius of the meniscus in case of insufficient capillary tube? This is the last point. Okay, I will draw just the upper end of the insufficient capillary tube. Okay, Suppose it is water only, water and glass tube, glass capillary tube. So here I will draw with more diameter in order to understand the diagram. Actually, whenever sufficient length of the capillary tube is there, the surface of the meniscus is like this, almost hemispherical, like this. But it is insufficient. In case of insufficient here, you see, the surface of the meniscus becomes like this. Okay, I will draw diagram somewhat below. This is the meniscus. This is the upper end of the capillary tube. The surface of the meniscus is like this. When it is sufficient, when the length of the capillary tube is sufficient, then the surface, shape of the meniscus is hemisphere in case of water and glass, like this. But if it is insufficient, then the shape of the meniscus like this. Whenever sufficient, it is the shape of the meniscus. Whenever it is insufficient, shape of the meniscus becomes like this, so that the radius of curvature will increase. Okay, the radius of, actually this part is not there, shaded part is not there. Here, when the insufficient capillary tube is used here, the surface of the meniscus is like this only. This is the surface of the meniscus. These are the walls of the capillary tube, and it is the surface of the meniscus. It is the meniscus. What is the radius of the meniscus? Suppose the center of this curvature is say this one, O. Then this is the radius. Here, suppose this is the midpoint, say it is the center of this capillary tube. Then this length is equal to radius smaller. This length is equal to radius smaller. At this point of contact to the surface of liquid, you draw a tangent. The tangent is along this direction. That is normal to this perpendicular line. Okay, then this is the angle of contact. This is the angle of contact. If it is theta, then this is 90 minus theta, so that it is theta. Then what is the radius of curvature of the meniscus in this case? Whatever the radius of curvature of the meniscus in this case. Okay, so here you see on this diagram, you take cos theta. You take cos theta. Cos theta is equal to small r by capital R. No? Cos theta is equal to small r by capital R. Okay, capital R is equal to, that means radius of the meniscus. That implies capital R is equal to small r by cos theta. It is the radius of the meniscus, and theta is the angle of contact. Where theta, angle of contact, because the angle made by the tangent drawn at the point of contact of the liquid surface with the inner walls of the container or inner walls of the capillary tube with the inner wall of the capillary tube inside the liquid. Inside the liquid means it is the liquid only, not totally. It is the liquid only. That is called angle of contact. So theta is angle of contact. So it is the radius of the meniscus, where r, radius of meniscus in insufficient capillary tube. Insufficient capillary tube. Okay. Last one. Whenever the liquid level rises in the capillary tube, the force due to surface tension P cos theta into mg, P cos theta into 2 pi r. R is the radius of the capillary tube. Acts upwards, and weight of the liquid column in the capillary tube is downwards. Therefore, P cos theta into 2 pi small r is equal to weight mg. Here, when the two capillary tubes of different radii are used, then what is the mass of the liquid rises? Ratio they may ask. When two different capillary tubes are used, having different radii, but liquids are same, then surface tension is constant, 2 pi is constant, G is constant. Then Mass of liquid that raised in the capillary tube is directly proportional to radius of the capillary tube. There are two cases. M1 by M2 is equal to R1 by R2. The radius of the capillary tube is changed. Of course, the height up to which the liquid level rises changes according to the Durin's law. Previously I said, and mass of liquid rises, that is proportional to radius of the capillary tube. So we can use this formula. Okay, this is about insufficient capillary tube. Suppose if the capillary tube, last point, capillary tube of sufficient length is kept in a liquid. Sufficient length means the length of the capillary tube in the liquid above the surface of liquid in the beaker is greater than the capillary rise. Then that is said to be having sufficient length. If it is kept in the lift, last point. Suppose the liquid is here. Here the length of the liquid, length of the capillary tube above the surface of liquid is greater than capillary rise. If it is kept in the beaker, if it is kept in the lift, it is kept in the lift, and lift falls freely under gravity. Lift falls freely under gravity. Falls freely means acceleration of the lift is equal to g. Then it falls freely. When lift falls freely, what is the capillary rise? You tell me. From the formula T is equal to RH rho Z by 2 cos theta, general formula. But here, whenever the lift is coming down with an acceleration g or with an acceleration a, then g minus a we have to write. From this capillary rise H is equal to 2t cos theta by r rho into g minus a. It is the capillary rise. If a is equal to, when the lift is coming down with an acceleration a, in that case capillary rise is this one. When lift falls freely, a is equal to g. In such case, what about h value? Then a is equal to g. 0, it becomes 0. Something by 0, infinity. That's why infinity. So what is the height of the liquid column that rises in the capillary tube here? Infinity means this length is not infinity, L only. But capillary rise is infinity means, is it the overflow from this tube? Is the liquid comes out in the form of a fountain? Infinity. Infinity means up to full length of the capillary tube, the liquid level rises. Cannot overflow. Okay? Up to full length of the liquid tube. So therefore, liquid rises up to full length of capillary tube. Full length of capillary tube. Full length of capillary tube means length of the capillary tube is considered as the length of the tube above the surface of the liquid only. This is only length of the capillary tube. Full length of the capillary tube means this only. We should not consider from bottom. From the surface of liquid up to what height the capillary tube is there, that is considered as the length of the capillary tube, not total length. Okay. So this is the topic. In next class, we will discuss number of applications based on this capillarity phenomena only. Okay. Tomorrow we will complete this capillarity phenomena problems also. Okay. Right now, have a nice day. I'm signing out. Bye, all of you. When you take H is equal to R, angle of contact, angle of contact does not depends on the height of the liquid column, no. Angle of contact does not depends on the height of the liquid column. It does not depends on the radius of the capillary tube also. It does not depends on the radius of the capillary tube also. Okay, notes I will keep. Right now, all the notes once I kept now last week, that is only notes. In that notes only, these all points are there. Okay, bye all of you.